Why play games alone when you can play games with friends?
Because I have no friends.
Of all the ways to play games, multiplayer is definitely one of them. It's one of the options. And love them or hate them, multiplayer games bring people together from across the globe as we use them to rekindle old friendships, maintain current friendships, and make all new friendships as we use Discord to communicate with each other, which we could have just done without the video games, but this way I can use screaming to break up the awkward silence. But today, I don't want to just talk about multiplayer games, I want to talk about the most unique multiplayer games there are. So let's point our arrows at the target and see what lands as the most unique multiplayer video games. Indirect multiplayer games have modes that are not immediately noticeable, but are rather there to quietly enhance your gaming experience. First, let's have a look at Death Stranding. Death Stranding's difficulty might make you feel like a monster, but an internet friend can hand you a nice product-placed monster to make you feel a little better.
Thank you.
You could play through the entirety of Death Stranding without ever really noticing its multiplayer. It's less about inherent cooperation and more about minute progression assistance, as other players lay down zip lines and bridges, all in service of aiding you on your journey to delivering the weird baby thing. I played the game and I still don't know what the hell this thing is. But regardless, the subtlety of Death Stranding's multiplayer makes what often feels like a very lonesome game feel a little more warm, all while making your journey feel significantly easier. Next, we wander into the world of Mario Wonder. I have to talk about Mario Wonder's multiplayer mode because it just came out and now I can put it in the tags. But also because Mario Wonder's multiplayer mode is really cool. This iteration of 2D Mario ditched the whole ruin your friend's day vibe and switched it out for a help some random person out vibe. By just being there or placing down a standee, you can allow another player to resurrect from ghost form and continue on with the level. It's often a scratch my back and I'll scratch yours scenario though, as by saving them you can now use them as a resurrect stone later on in the level. It is both a fun way to connect with random people online and also a much more relaxed way to play games with your friends. The final bit of Indirect Multiplayer is held in the open deserts of Journey. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Journey is my favorite game and it holds my favorite multiplayer mode. There is something so magical about happening upon other players, having no information on them, not a gamer tag or a wacky skin, but rather just taking in the way they interact with the world. They are pieces of your journey, helping you wander through the world and discover its secrets. I've said my piece on Journey in the past, so I'll keep it short by just saying that it's a magical way to encounter other players within a game. I wish more games would do something akin to this, and it's my main motivation in rebooting the game for another run. In this section, we will uncover the unique and uncanny competition that lies in some of the smartest multiplayer games around. The first game we spy is Spy Party. Have you ever wanted to be the Lee Harvey Oswald to your friend's JFK?
What?
Spy Party sets you up with the objective of locating your friend as they try to sneak around a party, accomplishing an objective. It is an incredible mixture of comedic fun and downright intense competition as you try to juke your friends into shooting the wrong person. The spy is given room to truly feel like a master of espionage as they connive around and try to make their obvious objective look natural, all while the sniper does detective work until finally being enticed into pulling the trigger. It is a unique form of competition that pits wit rather than reflexes. We next move on to Speedrunners. Speedrunners, however, sits on the exact opposite end of the spectrum, as it does not care about how smart you are, how clever you are, or how funny you are. It simply asks you one question: how fast can you go? And the answer is pretty gosh darn quick. It is exactly what is described on the tin as you and 3 of your sweatiest friends battle it out to see who can go the quickest across its 2D maps as you grapple, dash, wall jump, and go really fast, all in purpose of getting your friend off the screen. In that way, it kind of works like Smash Bros, as the screen is the boundary and the last one on it wins. But in every other way, it is wholly unique and always a blast to play. Our final bit of competition is found within Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. This mode existed back in the era where every single-player game had to have an accompanying crappy little multiplayer mode, but the thing about Assassin's Creed's crappy little mode is that it wasn't all that crappy. You set out in this mode with the goal of assassinating another assassin who's trying to assassinate another assassin, who's assassinating another assassin, whose goal is to assassinate another assassin, who's assassinating another assassin. But the fun part is no one knew who was assassinating who. It carried forth the very fun assassination mechanics from the main game and made for a really interesting experience. There really is, still to this day, nothing like this mode. Creative co-op games allow players a one-on-one multiplayer experience in which you get to tackle puzzles and take down bosses, all in weird and wacky ways. First off, we have It Takes Two. Like I said, these are all multiplayer games, and you can't play them alone. It takes two. I'm ashamed of what I've done. It Takes Two isn't unique for one single reason. It's unique for just how many different pieces it conjoins. From dungeon crawler to side scroller, from third-person shooter to platformer, It Takes Two is a cavalcade of action as it brings in new ideas and gameplay mechanics and then tosses them into the wind in order to introduce new forms of gameplay. It never stops innovating and exciting, allowing you to both compete and cooperate with your partner as you travel through its wonderfully diverse world. It's by far the best couch co-op game I've ever played and sets itself apart with its immense diversity. Don't explode from excitement because now we have Keep Talking and No One Explodes. Keep Talking and No One Explodes is a cooperative game about transferring information as the player in the VR headset is given all the visuals and the player outside of the headset is given all of the knowledge. It takes real-life bomb defusal intensity and turns it into real-life screaming at your friends intensity. It's stressful and quick, it's funny and unique, it's the best way to make showing off your new VR headset to your friends not the worst experience in the world, as it allows a room of people to all get excited around the one person who has the headset on. In this way, it's an experience all its own. The final game in the final category is Dark Souls. To many a reviewer, Dark Souls is just a way to define a game as difficult, but in this video, we're actually going to talk about the game itself. Crazy, right? No, it's not. Okay, back to the video. Dark Souls realistically could have gone in about any of these categories, as there is literally nothing even close to similar to the multiplayer in all three of its games. From the weird summoning system where you can add strangers by touching scratches on the ground to the hilarious messaging system where you can leave little notes of information about what might be coming around the corner. The game does nothing by the playbook, both to its advantage and to its disadvantage. This is what makes Dark Souls multiplayer so unique, and honestly, it totally fits within the weird confines of the game's universe. Multiplayer games suffer greatly from genre linearity, but I believe that these games all show that there is great power in creating an experience unlike anything else. These games use random encounters, odd competition, and boundary-pushing cooperation to create experiences that are unique. I've had a blast playing all of these games, both with friends and with people I've never met. All in all, it's always good to see when games create unique spaces for us all to play together.